Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, Chapter 4, The Confidential Reasons for the Lord's Appearance. Text 42 onwards. 42. Dasya Sakhya Vatsalya Arajay Sringar Chari Prema Chaturvidha Bhaktai Adhar. Four kinds of devotees are the receptacles of the four kinds of mellows in love of Godhead, namely servitude, friendship, parental affection, and conjugal love. Text 43. Nija nija bhava sabe shrestha kori mane. Nija bhave kore Krishna sukha aswadane. Each kind of devotee feels that his sentiment is the most excellent, and thus in that mood he tastes happiness with Lord Krishna. Text 44. Tatastha hoya mone vichara jadi kari. Savarasa hoite Sringare adhika madhuri. Tatastha hoya mone vichara yadi kari. Savarasa hoite Sringare adhika madhuri. Tatastha hoya mane vichara yadi kari. Savarasa hoite Sringare adhika madhuri. Savarasa hoite Sringare adhika madhuri. Vichara yadi kari. Savarasa hoite Sringare adhika madhuri. Matajis. Kare Savarasa hoite Sringare adhika madhuri. Tatastha hoya, becoming impartial. Mane, in the mind. Vichara, consideration. Yadi, if. Kari, doing. Savarasa, all the mellows. Hoite, then. Sringare, in conjugal love. Adhika, greater. Madhuri, sweetness. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. But if we compare the sentiments in an impartial mood, we find that in the conjugal sentiment is superior to all others in sweetness. Purport. No one is higher or lower than anyone else in transcendental relationships with the Lord. For in the absolute realm, everything is equal. But although these relationships are absolute, there are also transcendental differences between them. Thus, the transcendental relationship of conjugal love is considered the highest perfection. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurun dinataranam. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhobhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo mahavadanyaya Krishna prema pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam. Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajeshatanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam. Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajavadhu Vargenaya Kalpita. Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamamalam Prema Pumartho Mahan. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhor Matamidam Tatradara Na Paraha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari. Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jayadvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jayadvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jayadvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. In this fourth chapter of the Adi Leela of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is explaining the confidential reasons for the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the previous chapter, he has described the external reasons for Mahaprabhu's advent. Now he is talking about the confidential reasons. And in the course of discussing this, he is mentioning and briefly analyzing the four rasas, or rather one should say the five rasas of transcendental devotional service. And he has established, very simply, he has said that on the platform of pure devotion, there are four kinds of devotees. He is not so much referring to the Shanta Rasa here, because according to some, Shanta Rasa is not prominent or not found so much in Goloka Vrindavan, but the other four rasas are there. In any case, he is specifically talking about the four kinds of rasas, which is the Dasya Ras, Sakhya Ras, Vatsalya Ras, and the Madhurya Ras. And he says there are four kinds of receptacles for these four categories of devotion. Receptacles means devotees. The devotees are the place where the pure love of Godhead resides within the heart. And he says that these four categories represent the four stages of pure devotion in different mellows. And each devotee, in whichever mellow he may be situated, he is fully satisfied. He does not feel that there is any lack in that particular rasa. He feels this is the most excellent. Nija nija bhava sabe shrestha kori mane. Nija nija bhave. So whatever is the bhava or the mood of devotion of a particular devotee on that platform of pure love, whichever rasa he may be in, for that devotee, he says, sabe shrestha kori mane. So he thinks that that particular rasa which he is relishing is the Shrestha or the best rasa. Nija bhave kore Krishna sukha aswadane. And in this way, he tastes transcendental happiness along with Lord Krishna. Now, this is something interesting, that although on the transcendental platform, as Srila Prabhupada has explained elsewhere, everything is absolute and therefore equal on that platform. And here also we see that devotees in these four rasas are relishing devotional service very nicely, and they think it is perfect and complete, and they don't think there is any lack in that. Still, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, however, tatastha hoya, tatastha meaning when you have an objective or unbiased view, And then you look at these four rasas. Tatastha huya mone vichar yodi kari. So if one very objectively analyzes these four rasas, then what does one find? Sabarasa hoite, amongst all the rasas, Sringar adhika madhuri. So the Sringar ras or the Madhurya ras or the conjugal mellow that Krishna enjoys with the gopis, that is supposed to be the topmost. So this may appear to be like a contradiction, because on one hand we are being told that all these four rasas are equal because they are on the absolute transcendental platform, and because each devotee feels that the rasa that he is experiencing is the topmost. So this is what we are told on one side. And on the other side, we are also being told that when you look at it from a completely neutral point of view, just analyzing it, tatastha, then we see that amongst these four rasas, the Madhurya ras or the Shringara ras is the topmost ras. So this might seem like a contradiction, but it is not a contradiction, because each rasa is perfect and complete in its own way. Suppose you like a particular kind of fruit and you like another kind of fruit. Now, each of you thinks that that fruit is the tastiest, it's the best, it's your favorite. But nevertheless, from a certain point of view, you may analyze in so many ways. Well, this has this kind of taste, it has that kind of sweetness, and you may make some kind of objective assessment. This is just a simple worldly example. So, we assess the qualities of something and then say whether it is good or bad. This is called taratamya nyaya, the logic of good, better and best. Srila Prabhupada says positive, comparative, superlative. So, this is a very nice song. This is a better song. That is the best song. So, good, better, best. So, this taratamya nyaya can also be applied to the analysis of these rasas on the basis of some criteria, some qualities. So we find that this is also described very nicely in what is very celebrated amongst the Gaudiya Vaishnavas as the Rai Ramananda Samvad. The Samvad means a conversation. So there is this very celebrated and famous conversation that happened between Ramananda Rai and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when Mahaprabhu had gone to South India for visiting the holy places. When Mahaprabhu met Ramananda Rai, who was a Rasika Bhakta of Radharani and Krishna and of Jagannath, so Mahaprabhu made Ramananda Rai an instrument to reveal to the world some of the most esoteric, very deep, exalted truths of devotional service, of these rasas in particular. So Mahaprabhu played the role of a student asking questions, and Ramananda Rai gave answers. And the main question that Mahaprabhu asked is, what is the goal of life? Sandhya. You know that there are two words, sadhana and sadhya. Sadhana we are all familiar with. And sadhya. Sadhya means the ultimate goal. So the process or the instruments that are used in order to attain that ultimate goal, sadhya, is called sadhana. So Ramananda Rai is being asked by Mahaprabhu about the sadhya And what is a sadhan for obtaining that sadhya? So, Ramananda Rai starts answering. He first explains that Varnashrama Dharma, following that, is the perfection of life. Varnashrama charvata purushena parha puman Vishnur aradhyate pantha nanyat tattosha karanam. By performing one's duties within the Varnashrama system, well, properly, one can please Lord Vishnu and there is no other way. So Mahaprabhu says, Eho Bahya. This is external. Aage kaho aar. So then Ramananda Rai says, one can stay within the Varnashrama, but one should offer the fruits of one's actions to Lord Krishna. Yat karoshi, yad ashnasi, yad juhosi tadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. So whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever austerities you perform, etc., do it as an offering unto me. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hears this and he says, okay, but eho bahya, aage kaho aar. So Ramananda Rai continues. He says, okay, if Mahaprabhu is saying eho bahya for the Varnashrama system, then okay, reject the duties of the Varnashrama Dharma, take sannyas and surrender unto Lord Krishna. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. So Mahaprabhu is still not satisfied. Now we may wonder, after hearing Sarva Dharman Parityajya, now Mahaprabhu is still not satisfied. What could be the reason? Because he is making Ramananda Rai educate us about the higher and higher and higher principles of devotional service. So then Ramananda Rai speaks about Jnana Mishra Bhakti. That bhakti which is mixed with jnana. Jnana here means trying to find out something about the impersonal. And then he speaks about Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kangshati samah sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. But Mahaprabhu is not happy with that also. So Mahaprabhu says, Eho bahya aage kaho aar. So then Ramananda Rai says, okay, so at least we are on the point of bhakti now. So he advocates the path of Jnana Shunya Bhakti. Earlier he had advocated Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Now he says Jnana Mishra Bhakti, that bhakti in which there is no contamination of impersonal realization and of mental speculation. So Jnana Shunya Bhakti. Jnane prayasamudapasya namantya eva jivanti sanmukharitam bhavadiya vartam sthane sthita shrutigatam tanuvan manobhir ye prayaso jita jita pyasita istri lokyam. This is a famous prayer of Lord Brahma to Lord Krishna in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So he says one should give up all these false conceptions of impersonal existence and one should simply come in the association of devotees and hear and chant about Krishna and render service to Krishna, offer obeisances to Krishna. And in this way one can conquer Krishna. Krishna is called Ajit, one who cannot be conquered. But by this kind of devotional service, one can actually conquer Krishna. So now, so far in the first four things that Ramananda Rai has mentioned, Mahaprabhu had said, Eho Bahya. This is external. But now, when Ramananda Rai speaks about Jnana Shunya Bhakti, for the first time, Mahaprabhu says, Eho Hoy. Yes, you are correct. But he is still not satisfied. Eho Hoy, Aage Kaho Aar. So still go ahead and talk more. And at that time, Ramananda Rai speaks about Prema Bhakti. He says, this is the perfection of life. Because what is the question originally asked by Mahaprabhu? What is the sadhya? What is the goal of life? And what is the sadhana? So now Ramananda Rai is saying the goal of life is Krishna prema. Krishna bhakta rasa bhavita matihi kriyatam yadi kutopi labhyate. Atra laulyam api mulyam ekalam janma koti sukriter na labhyate. That if this Krishna bhakti rasa is available anywhere, purchase it immediately, Rupa Goswami says in this verse. And the only price that you need to purchase this is laulyam or greed. And no amount of performing of pious activities can be sufficient to procure this Krishna bhakti rasa. So only greed is the price that you can pay. So Mahaprabhu is happy with that. He says, Krishna prema, wow, very nice. So go ahead, eho hoy, aage kaho aar. Now, Ramananda Rai is thinking, okay, I've come to the platform of prema bhakti. Now, he has already finished 6 answers. Now he will give 4 more answers before he comes to the platform of Madhurya Ras. So in the next 4, he will mention the 4 rasas. Dasya Ras, Sakhya Ras, Vatsalya Ras, Madhurya Ras. So when he speaks about Dasya Ras, for saving time, I will not mention all the shlokas, otherwise it will take too much time. He mentions Dasya Ras, and Mahaprabhu says, Eho Uttama. Earlier he said Eho Bahya, then he said Eho Hoy, now he's saying Eho Uttama. But even after saying Eho Uttama, he's still not satisfied. He says, Aage kaho aar. So this is excellent, but please continue. So in Dasya Ras, he explains how the devotee now considers himself as a servant of Krishna. Okay? Then he goes on to Sakhya Ras. Then he goes on to Vatsalya Ras. And then he comes to Madhurya Ras. At this point, Mahaprabhu is completely satisfied. But still Mahaprabhu wants him to go higher. And he will go into very, very higher levels of devotional service, coming up to the point of Srimati Radharani, etc. But suffice it to say for our discussion today, that his discussion on the goal of life for us ordinary jivas culminates in Madhurya Bhav. Please remember that all these 4 rasas, and even the Shanta Rasa, the 5th rasa, or the first one actually, it rests on the platform of complete detachment from matter and on the platform of attachment to Krishna. So therefore, these are all transcendental rasas or mellows. And Srila Prabhupada cautions that one should not try to imitate this artificially when one is still materially attached. One has to follow the due process of devotional service as taught by Guru Sadhu Shastra, and gradually one will make advancement in devotional service. Now, as the discussion goes on, in this, Ramananda Rai explains some very interesting points that he says. He says, Krishna praptir upay bahuvidha hoy. He says there are several ways in which you can obtain Krishna. Now he's talking about these 4 means of attaining Krishna, the 4 moods or mellows or rasas. So he says, Krishna praptir bahuvidha upay. So there are many ways in which you can obtain Krishna. Krishna prapti taratamya bahuta achay. So all these methods of attaining Krishna can also be analyzed from a comparative point of view. As I mentioned earlier, this is called Taratamya Nyaya, the logic of good, better, best, positive, comparative, superlative. And he says, so having said this, he also says, Kintu jar jai rasa sai sarvottama. Jar jai rasa. The person, whichever rasa that he is situated in and experiencing, sai sarvottama. For that devotee, that particular rasa that he is in is the topmost rasa. That is subjective. It is the individual experience. If you like sweet lime and he likes papaya, for you, sweet lime is the best fruit. And for him, papaya is the best fruit. So similarly, for Hanuman, he is situated in Dasyaras to Lord, or Dasyarati to Lord Ram. And he is completely satisfied in that. He understands the glories of the gopis of Vrindavan. But he wants to remain a faithful servant of Lord Ram, because he thinks that is the best for him. So even though this Taratamya Nyaya can be applied to understanding and analyzing these four rasas, or the five rasas, each devotee, having attained the perfection of his particular individual rasa, will be completely satisfied in that. He will not feel some envy or some sense of lack that I am here and this devotee is in the other rasa and that devotee is experiencing something better than I. That very rarely happens. It doesn't happen. Once this question was asked to Srila Prabhupada, whether in the spiritual world a devotee can change his particular rasa. Prabhupada said, why should he? Because he is so completely satisfied with whatever rasa he is experiencing, there is no need for him. He doesn't feel any lack or any inadequacy. However, Prabhupada added, because there is freedom, there is some free will. If that devotee so chooses, he may go to some other rasa. So we find in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also that you may find somebody from Vaikuntha also going to Goloka Vrindavan. So in any case, every devotee is feeling satisfied completely. So the cowherd boys are fully satisfied playing with Krishna and serving him in the Sakhyaras. They don't think that Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj are experiencing greater happiness. They think there is nothing like being a friend of Krishna and being in Sakhyaras. Similarly, Nanda Maharaj and Mata Yashoda cannot imagine any other way of loving Krishna other than being the mother and father of Krishna. And they understand the love of the cowherd boys for Krishna, the love of the gopis for Krishna. They understand all this. But for them, their Vatsalya Bhav is the topmost. They will not exchange it for anything else. And similarly with the gopis also. So therefore, as Kaviraj Goswami says, that one is completely satisfied, jar jai rasa sai sarvottama. And then he goes on to say, however, tatastha hona vicharila ache taratama. But even though every devotee thinks his rasa is the best, if one is tatastha, the same word is used here also in today's verse. Tatastha hoya mone vichara yodi kari. So very similar expression is used in the conversation between Ramananda Rai and Mahaprabhu, where he says, tatastha hona vicharila. If one very objectively, from a neutral point of view, examines or analyzes this, then Taratamya Nyaya can be applied. So then some kind of analysis can be made. So how to analyze? Why do we say one particular rasa is better than the other from that neutral point of view, from the tatastha point of view? So Ramananda Rai gives the example of gunas. He says that each of the rasas has a particular guna, and the higher rasa has the rasa guna of the lower rasa, and it has an extra guna. Then the rasa that is higher than that has the gunas of the lower rasas, but also has something extra which is not there in the lower rasas. Guna adhikya swad adhikye. So guna adhikye swad adhikya. So the more the number of qualities that come into a particular rasa, the more the taste of that devotional service increases. So it is in the sense of taste. Taste means you get a pleasure or a happiness. So it is in terms of the taste that the categorization is made in terms of good, better, best, which is the highest of the rasas. So Madhuri Ras has the highest number of qualities. It has the qualities of all the other rasas, plus it has something extra which the other qualities, other rasas don't have. So then the example is given of the Pancha Mahabhutas: earth, water, fire, air, ether. Now let's start from the reverse with ether. Ether has one quality, one tanmatra. Which is it? Sound. That is the only quality that ether can have. What is the next quality? Air. So air has which quality? Sense of touch. But it also has the quality of sound, which is there in ether, in the previous element. So therefore, air has touch as well as sound, because sound can travel through air also. And the sense of touch can be engaged with air. Then after that comes fire. Now fire has both the qualities of sound as well as the quality of touch. When you touch fire, you get burnt. But fire has one more quality which the other two elements don't have, and that is form. So fire has form, touch, as well as sound. The next higher quality or the next element is water. So water has sound, it has touch, it has form, and it has one more quality, which is taste. So it has four qualities. Ether has one quality, air has two qualities, fire has three qualities, water has four qualities. And the highest or the grossest of them all is Prithvi or earth. Earth has all the previous four qualities, but it has one extra quality that is not there in the previous four qualities, and that is smell. So therefore, earth has five qualities. So in this way, we see in each of these five elements, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 qualities respectively. In the same way, Srila Kaviraj Das Goswami explains in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that let us start with Shantaras. What happens in Shantaras? There is attachment to Krishna, detachment from matter. So there is something there which is very important. So one starts with some attachment to Krishna. So that one quality is there in Shantaras. But it's also there in the next higher ras, which is the Dasya ras. But what is added in Dasya ras? In Dasya ras you have attachment to Krishna. But you also have a sense of service, seva bhav, that comes into Dasya, which is not there in the Shantaras. In the Shantaras, the devotee is attracted to Krishna, is attached to Krishna, but the seva bhav has not become manifest. So the Dasya bhav is superior to the Shanta bhav because it has one extra quality, which is the mood of service, the principle of servitude to Krishna. it also has the quality that was there previously in the Shantaras, that is the attachment to Krishna. Now, Srila Prabhupada also says here in his purports that this sense of servitude implies a sense of ownership of Krishna, which is called mamata. Mama is mine. Mamata means the sense of being mine, that Krishna is mine. So that quality is there, which is not there so much in the Shantaras. So then this is the extra quality of Dasya. Then we come to Sakhya. What is the peculiar feature of Dasya? That even though there is a sense of service, a sense of ownership towards Krishna, but still there is a very clear distinction that I am the servant and he is my master. I am subordinate, Krishna is superior to me. He is my Lord. So there is a feeling of awe. There could be a feeling of a little bit of fear also, because he is my master. I should not displease him. Whereas when you come to Sakhya Ras, which is the next higher Ras, this feeling of awe and reverence, this feeling of even the slightest fear disappears. In the Dasya Ras now, there is a feeling of equality, that I am equal to Krishna. So, Tumi kaun bado log, tumi ama sama. As the cowherd boys will tell Krishna, you are not some big person. You and I are equal. We are friends. So in this way, there is an equality. And there is a sense of confidence, which is not there in Dasyaras. In why? Why is there no confidence or lack of confidence in the Dasyaras? Because there is some fear, some awe. But here there is total confidence. He is my equal. I will play with him. And Krishna will not be dissatisfied with me because I am acting as his equal. That confidence is there. So therefore, in the Sakhyaras, there is this one quality of confidence, which is not there in the earlier quality of Dasyaras. But you go to the next higher rasa, which is Vatsalya. In Vatsalya, there is one quality that is not there in Dasya. Vatsalya Bhava has all the qualities of Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, but it has one extra quality, which is increased affection. In Dasya, there is a feeling that I am lower than Krishna. In Sakhya, there is a feeling I am equal to Krishna. But in Vatsalya, there is a feeling I am superior to Krishna. Superior in what sense? Superior in the sense that Krishna is dependent on me. I have to look after Krishna. If I don't look after Krishna, then he will fall sick or something may happen to him. So I have to protect him from all the bad elements. So in this way, the devotee in the Vatsalya Bhava or Vatsalya Ras develops a protective feeling towards Krishna, and there is increased affection, which is not there in the Sakhya Ras. Affection is definitely there, but in Vatsalya, it is much more. Then we come to Madhurya. So in what way is Madhurya superior to Vatsalya? That in Vatsalya, there is lack of complete freedom. There is a lot of affection, but still he is the child and I am the parent. But in Madhurya, there is complete freedom. There is no lack of anything. So therefore, the Madhurya Ras is considered the most complete rasa or the mellow, because it has all the qualities of the previous mellows plus It has this one extra quality which is not found in the previous mellows, which is complete freedom in that relationship. No hindrance, no inhibition, no fear, no regulations and rules. So therefore we see the gopis, they will also tease Krishna like the cowherd boys do. They may also chastise Krishna like Mother Yashoda may do, but the kind of freedom they will have with Krishna in the way they deal with him, they're teasing Krishna or they're scolding Krishna and they're dealing with Krishna, is completely devoid of any restrictions or inhibitions. So therefore, this Madhuri Ras is characterized by complete freedom in the relationship. And therefore, it is called the highest rasa. So guna adhikye swad adhikya. So because the number of qualities, of transcendental qualities is highest in Madhuri Ras, therefore it has the highest taste. It is the sweetest amongst them all. In this way, in today's verses also, we have concluded with that. And I'll read the purport for today's verse again. Srila Prabhupada says, no one is higher or lower than anyone else in transcendental relationships with the Lord. For in the absolute realm, everything is equal. But although these relationships are absolute, there are also transcendental differences between them. Thus, the transcendental relationship of conjugal love is considered the highest perfection. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. We may have time for just maybe 2-3 questions. Yes. Is there any mic?
Maharaj, you said that all these rasas are at the level of detachment to the matter and attachment to Krishna.
Yes, all these 4 rasas are situated on the platform of Krishna Prem. If you remember, till now, Ramananda Rai has given 10 answers. Right? And the 6th one was Prema Bhakti. Then 7, 8, 9, 10, he speaks about the 4 rasas. Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. So each of them is based on the previous one, or it includes the previous one. So all these 4 rasas are based on the foundation of Prema Bhakti. Okay?
My question is, Maharaj, that at a sadhana level, how we can reach this level?
At the sadhana level, how can we enter into these rasas? Well, we can enter into these rasas by hearing about them, by reading about them in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which we do on a daily basis. We hear the Srimad Bhagavatam and we hear about the exchanges between the devotees and the Supreme Lord, which will be in some of these, one or more of these rasas. So we are hearing about it, we are learning about it, we are reading about it. And as we progress in our Krishna consciousness with more and more hearing and chanting, then gradually our understanding will deepen. And we will become situated in some particular rasa by Krishna's mercy. Okay? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the wonderful lecture. As you stated, in the Madhurya Ras, there is a complete freedom. But can you give an example for that?
Complete freedom means that in any relationship, there should be no restriction. There are obviously some kind of restrictions that are possible or that exist in relationships between friend and friend, between parent and child. But between lover and beloved, there is no restriction. So the relationships can become even more intimate, they can become more and more sweet. There is no restriction there. One last question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So in starting you said that laulyam is the price to purchase bhakti. So
Yes.
how to obtain that laulyam?
How to obtain the lowlium, the greed, by obtaining Krishna Prem? The answer is two things. By praying to Krishna to give us that greed, number one, when we are chanting, when we are praying, etc. And second, associating with those who have more greed than us, then we will get that from them also. If you're associating with someone who's materially very greedy, then you will also become greedy for money or whatever else that he wants. If we are associating with those who are greedy for Krishna, we will also start becoming greedy for Krishna. Okay? So we will stop here. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Go, Hare Krishna.